Welcome to Seeing Green Solutions for Our Daily Lives, the podcast where we spotlight the brands, ideas, and people making it easier to live sustainably every day. Today's episode is part of our Spotlight series, a deep dive into one of our Seeing Green Solutionists of the day. And now, today's solution.
Welcome to the Seeing Green Spotlight series. This is where we take a closer look at our solutionist of the day and really dig into the solutions they bring to help us all be healthier, maybe a bit greener in our daily lives. You know, it's something we don't always think about, but everything we consume, that coffee, the snacks, whatever, it all carries this like environmental story with it. Think about it from the farm, the growing, the processing, transport, right until it gets to you. It all leaves an impact. And honestly, trying to make the right choices can feel overwhelming, right? You want to do better, support companies that are actually doing better, really addressing these issues, which is exactly why today we're putting the spotlight on Harmless Harvest. Now, this is a company that really seemed to emerge with this clear mission to prove that business can, actually be a force for good. So we're going to dive deep into what they do, especially their plant-based coconut stuff and their whole approach to sustainability. It's really comprehensive planet and people.
Yeah, and that's so important because the food industry, well, it's facing huge challenges.
Yeah.
Climate change, social equity. It's a lot. What Harmless Harvest is doing, it's not just tweaking things. It feels more like a whole new way of operating.
Yeah.
And this deep dive, I think it'll show some really concrete examples of these solutions in action. How a company can make a great product and drive some real positive change. That's what people are looking for, right?
Definitely. Okay, so let's unpack how they even got started. Harmless Harvest, founded back in 2009, 2010. By Justin Gilbert and Douglas Rabu. Their big idea was this thing called conscious capitalism.
Right.
But it wasn't just like a buzzword for them. It meant really baking purpose into the business model from the get-go, thinking beyond just profit, farmers and the planet.
And it started with a pretty simple observation, actually. They saw that farmers were often just, discarding coconut water. They only wanted the meat.
Mm-hmm.
And Gilbert and Rabu saw that and thought, okay, that's an environmental issue, but maybe also an opportunity. Turn that waste into something healthy.
And that led to their coconut water, the pink one everyone knows.
That's the one. It really shook up the beverage aisle. It was something genuinely different visually and in its whole philosophy. And a really key decision early on was focusing on one specific coconut, the Nam Hom variety from Thailand.
Just that one.
Just that one. It's famous for being naturally sweet, aromatic.
Yeah.
It's the only one they use. And it's not just about the taste, though that's important. It ties the brand to a specific place, a specific ecosystem, a specific community, almost like terroir in wine,
Okay.
That.
Like wine, yeah. That makes sense. It connects everything.
Exactly. It makes their supply chain very focused, which, as we'll see, creates both opportunities and some real challenges for sustainability.
Okay, so here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. Taste is key, obviously, but climate change is a huge threat, right? Thailand, this incredibly lush place, is facing weird rainfall patterns, shorter monsoons, more heat.
Yeah, it's hitting agriculture hard there.
And it's straining the coconut yields. I read that in 2020, Harmless Harvest's coconuts were like 12% smaller and yielded 30% less water.
That's huge.
It's a massive drop. And add to that, something like 90% of Asia's coconut trees are getting old, nearing the end of their productive life.
Wow. So it's kind of a perfect storm brewing.
It really is. A crisis for the whole industry, potentially.
So faced with all that, what did Harmless Harvest do? You said they invested heavily in regenerative agriculture. What prompted that big shift?
It was pretty much essential. I mean, if you look at conventional farming, especially monoculture with lots of chemicals, it degrades the soil. It reduces moisture retention, increases erosion, makes farms way more vulnerable to climate shocks like drought or heavy rain.
Right.
Regenerative agriculture is the opposite. It works with nature to build the soil back up, make it healthier, more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
And Harmless Harvest really committed. They became one of the first coconut companies to get regenerative organic certified ROC for their Nam Hom coconuts. That was 2023. They got bronze status. ROC certified.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not just a label. It sounds like a whole system.
Exactly. It provides this structure, this framework. It kind of puts purpose around their belief in doing more than just shipping a product. It pushes for transformation across the whole supply chain.
Yeah.
And to make it happen, they launched this big project, RECAP, the Regenerative Coconuts Agriculture Project.
Recap. Okay.
Yeah. First of its kind in Thailand, apparently. They partnered with the Danone Ecosystem Fund and GIZ.
Big names. What do they bring to the table?
Well, Danone's fund brings investment, obviously, but also experience in scaling up sustainable farming models. And GIZ is a German development agency, so they bring technical know-how, boots on the ground support for the farmers. And their goals were ambitious. Boost farmer income by 10%, transition half their acres to regenerative organic by the end of 23, with the ultimate goal being 100% regenerative farms.
Okay, 100%. That's a massive goal. It sounds great, but like, what does it actually mean? On the ground, in the groves. Their CEO, Greg Williamson, said something like, you can't really appreciate it until you see it, right? How different the soil feels, how much healthier the trees look.
Yeah, it's apparently quite visible.
So what are they actually doing? What are these practices?
Well, there are a few key pillars. One is intercropping.
Intercropping, so planting other things between the coconut trees.
Exactly. Native crops like peppercorns, coffee, fruit trees, stuff like that. It gives farmers other income sources, which is great, but it also really improves the soil health. Different roots, different microbes.
Ah, okay. Diversifies the soil, too.
Precisely. Then there's cover cropping, using hardy ground plants
Why do that?
to hold moisture in the soil, prevent erosion, and keep living roots in the ground all year round. These plants build organic matter, feed the soil life, making the soil a better carbon sink. And they have data. Last year, they found soil temps were 5 degrees Celsius lower.
5 degrees, that's a lot.
It is,
Yeah.
especially for roots in hot weather. And soil moisture doubled on farms with cover crops.
Doubled. Wow. So it makes the farms way more resilient to drought then, like a sponge.
Exactly like a sponge.
Yeah.
Hugely important with changing rainfall.
Okay, what else?
They're also using stingless bee pollination.
Bees. Okay, for better yields.
Better yields, yeah. But the bees also produce honey, another income stream for farmers.
Clever.
And they've improved irrigation and canal management, including, this is kind of cool, releasing seiche to control duckweed in the canals naturally.
Fish for weed control. That's neat.
Isn't it? And of course, composting, using earthworms to make vermicompost, and using coconut tree waste, which used to just be burned, to make compost for the crops.
So it's all connected, closing the loop.
Totally. A real ecosystem approach.
Okay, this sounds amazing, truly. But it also sounds like a big change from how things might have been done for generations. So how do you get farmers, maybe hundreds of them, to actually adopt all these new, maybe complex practices? What's the secret sauce there?
That's always the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you drive that change? Well, Harmless Harvest tackles it head-on. First, they cover the extra costs and deal with the paperwork for things like the ROC and Fair for Life certifications. They actively support the farms through that whole process.
Okay, so they remove some barriers.
Right. But maybe even more cleverly, they set up a demo farm.
A demonstration farm.
Yeah, they took this depleted coconut grove, rehabilitated it using all these regenerative methods, and put sensors in to collect hard data.
Ah, data, so they can actually show the benefits.
Exactly. Show, don't just tell. They can demonstrate lower soil temps, better water retention, increased income from intercropping. Tangible results. It builds a strong economic case for the farmers. It's not just about ideals. It's about their bottom line.
That makes a lot of sense. Show the proof.
And it seems to be working. As of this year, 2025, they've got over 700 farmers involved in making this shift.
700. That's fantastic progress.
It really is. A testament to that supportive, data-driven approach.
Okay, so that's the farm side. But what about waste? That's another huge environmental issue for food companies. You mentioned Harmless Harvest found that coconut farming and coconut waste were their biggest greenhouse gas sources.
Yeah, that was a key finding for them.
So how did they tackle the waste part? Sounds like they found a way to turn that problem around too.
They did, embracing that circular economy idea. It's quite ingenious, really. They take the coconut meat, which, remember, was initially less desired than the water they focused on, and they upcycle it.
Upcycle it? Into what?
Into a whole line of other products. Dairy-free coconut yogurts, smoothies, functional drinks, all refrigerated.
Oh, wow. So using the whole coconut, basically.
Pretty much. And these aren't just new products, they're certified. They got upcycled certification for the yogurts in 2022, the smoothies in 2023.
Upcycled certified. Okay.
It shows they're serious about cutting waste, aiming for zero waste eventually. It avoids methane from discarded stuff, too.
Why?
And, if you're interested in this whole world of upcycled food, which is fascinating, definitely check out our deep dive on Barnana. They do amazing things with imperfect bananas.
Good tip. Okay, but now, the elephant in the room for so many brands. Packaging. Harmless Harvest uses plastic bottles, right? And we all know plastic isn't great. Recycling rates are low, pollution. It's a tough one.
It absolutely is. Probably one of the trickiest challenges for beverage companies.
So how are they dealing with it?
They acknowledge it's a challenge. Their big step was moving all their beverage bottles to 100% PET back in 2021.
RPET, so recycled plastic?
Exactly, recycled PET plastic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy. They actually had to help create an RPT supply chain in Thailand to make it happen. That shows real commitment.
Wow. Okay, so they built the supply chain. Is everything RPT now?
The bottle itself is. The cap and the label aren't yet, mainly because of technical challenges with materials and the recycling process for those bits. And it's important to remember, RPT is better than virgin plastic, much lower carbon footprint.
Right.
But it still needs a good recycling system to work. And plastic can only be recycled so many times. It's not perfect.
So a step, but not the final answer.
Exactly. They call it a journey. They're working on getting the caps and sleeves to RRBET, and they say they're always looking at non-plastic options. They're being open about it, which is good.
Okay. So we've covered planet stuff, farming, waste, packaging. But Harmless Harvest has this quote, right? Can't do right by the planet without doing right by people.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great, but doing right by people in a global supply chain, that can mean a lot of different things. How do they actually put that into practice, make it real?
Yeah, and that's really where their conscious capitalism idea comes back in. It's foundational for them. They were actually the first coconut water brand to get Fair for Life certified.
Fair for Life, what does that guarantee?
It's a serious third-party certification. It verifies fair wages, decent working conditions both in Thailand and in the U.S., and, crucially, that they reinvest back into the communities where the coconuts come from.
Okay, reinvesting. How?
Well, they give some really powerful examples. Through these Fair for Life projects, they've given free healthcare medical checkups, eye exams, to over 770 farmers and their families.
Wow.
And get this, 80% of those people had never had any medical care before.
80%? That's incredible. That's life-changing stuff.
It really is, addressing fundamental needs. And they've helped over 300 farms get certified organic and Fair for Life, too, raising standards.
So it's health, it's farm standards. What else?
Beyond the farms, they set up a mobile medical unit to reach more remote places. They put reverse osmosis water filters in schools, providing clean drinking water for kids, and they maintain them.
Clean water in schools. That's huge for kids' health, their ability to learn.
Absolutely. And all this community work is funded directly by their Fair for Life fund. They contribute a tiny amount, like US 0.0003 for every coconut they buy.
Doesn't sound like much per coconut.
But it adds up. Based on their volume, around 100 million coconuts a year, that's almost US $300,000 annually going straight back into these community programs.
Okay, yeah, that's significant. It builds real loyalty, I imagine.
Definitely. It shows a real partnership.
Right.
And it extends beyond the farms, too. Their factory in Thailand has green industry and ISO 14001 certifications, showing environmental commitment in their processing as well. It's holistic.
So, wrapping this up,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway here? Harmless Harvest seems to be doing a lot. The regenerative farming, tackling waste, the packaging journey, investing deeply in communities. They really seem to walk the talk of being a solutionist of the day. They took this vision of conscious capitalism and made it real, with measurable results.
Absolutely. And their commitment, even when it was probably difficult or expensive up front, shows that investing heavily in sustainability can pay off in the long run. It's about working with nature, like you said, not fighting against it, and proving that maybe you can make the impossible possible in business. They're not just selling a drink. They're modeling a different way. So here's something to think about, a little provocative thought for you listening. What if more companies, especially those with big global supply chains for everyday things we buy, what if they adopted this kind of truly holistic approach? Thinking about profit, sure, but equally about the planet and the people every step of the way. What would our grocery stores even look like then?
That's a great question to ponder. A different world, maybe. Well, if you want to learn more about Harmless Harvest, you can visit them at harmlessharvest.com. And if you're interested in finding more brands and innovators working towards a greener world, check out the Seeing Green website. We showcase trailblazers making real strides in eco-friendly living. That's online at www.seeinggreen.eco. And you can follow us at Seeing Green Eco on social media. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.